Today, I'll be retiling my bathroom shower, but first, I have to install cement board. Cement board is durable and waterproof, so it's the go-to choice behind tile in wet areas like bathrooms and kitchens. Let's get started. Today, I'll be using HardieBacker cement board. This is the 500 product, and it's 1/2 inch thick. I'll be installing it directly onto the studs. I'm looking to ensure the studs are straight, and I'll use a measuring tape to ensure the spacing between each stud is no more than 16 inches from the center. The frame looks great. Now it's time to figure out the pattern. When you install HardieBacker cement board, you can install it vertically or horizontally, making sure it's installed at a staggered pattern. You never want 4 corners of the board to touch each other because that can create a weak center, which could cause water damage in the future. When it's time to install the board, start about 1/4 of an inch above the floor, pan, or tub. When you're installing each board, make sure they're spaced about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch apart, again using a nail or a screw to help with spacing. When it's time to cut, you can use a utility knife, but it's best to use a carbide tip scoring tool like this one because you can score the board and then snap it off. I'll be using cement board screws to fasten this to the studs. Don't use regular screws, they will corrode. So full sheets are pretty heavy, so it's nice to have some friends who can help out. Okay, now that the cement board is in place, it's time to mud and tape the joints. Mix a small batch of thin set mortar as directed by the manufacturer. Using a 6-inch drywall knife, apply a thin layer directly to the joint. It's okay to go over the joint on both sides about 1.5 inches. Now it's time to apply alkaline resistant cement board mesh tape over the joint. Last, apply another layer of mortar over the tape. So it's a common misconception that cement board doesn't get wet, but that's just not true. It just doesn't break down when it gets wet. So depending on the type of cement board you're using or your local building codes, it might be a good idea to apply a waterproof membrane, like RedGuard. It's pretty easy. You just apply it just like you would painting a wall. Make sure you get into the corners, and in areas where it gets really wet, throw on 2 coats. Well, I'm gonna finish up here, let it dry, and then I'll be ready to install my tile.